Hi, my name's Bree, and today I want to share with you some encouragement and practical tips in hospitality. Let's start out by talking about what hospitality even is. I would define it as being in service, making someone feel comfortable. Hospitality has many different realms. Today I'm going to be sharing with you how to have hospitality specifically in your home and some practical ways that you can achieve a comfortable and inviting space. Hey there, this is Bree from the blog and YouTube channel My Abiding Home. It is such a joy to have you here. This is a place where I give encouragement in discipleship, family life, wholesome food, natural living, and some DIY. So follow along and be blessed. So first, let's talk about having a designated space in your home for those last minute guests. I've had friends text me or call me last minute and ask if they could come on over to talk or to pray, and I want to be available. I'm busy. I have small toddlers and infants running around, but I'm not too busy to serve. So what I do is I just keep one area of my house clean, tidy I'll say, instead of clean. That way when somebody comes over last minute, I can have a space where they can feel comfortable. And that doesn't mean that your whole house has to be clean, just have a designated area for company. A way that you can make your house feel cozy is to decorate for the seasons. This doesn't have to cost any money. You can just use whatever is out in your garden currently, flowers, or do crafts with your kids that are for the season. I always know that I feel so cozy and comfortable whenever I walk into someone's home in the winter that has the wood fire going or has fresh eucalyptus or whatever it is, just taking that breath of fresh air. Something also I like to use a lot is I diffuse essential oils. In our home we use the brand doTERRA essential oils. I love them for their purity. Whenever I know I'm having a guest, even if it's last minute, I can just throw some oils in my diffuser and get my house smelling clean or cozy, or make the atmosphere right for whatever the emotional occasion is, and just to be all around more inviting. Another practical tip would to be have some kind of treat on hand. I love to treat my guests, having fresh bread or cookies ready to go when they arrive. It makes them feel like I've thought of them ahead of time, and I just know that the times that I've gone to my friend's house who offer me tea and they have fresh muffins, or maybe they've made breakfast for their family and they invite me over, I connect well over food. I think most of us do connect over food. I have a couple of recipes I will link in the description box below for scones, as well as Pop-Tarts or cookies. Those are some of my favorite recipes to make ahead and have the dough frozen, or even make the whole Pop-Tart or scone ahead of time, cook it, and then freeze it. That way you could just pop it back in the oven to heat it up right before your guests come over. I find that those are super simple things to have on hand. I do recommend having some sort of treat, if possible, to treat your guests. If you're coffee lovers like my husband and I are, I would recommend also having some cold brew on hand. It's great for when you have company over. It will make them feel more comfortable and, like I said, thought of. Now, hospitality and these tips that I'm giving you are something that I actually have learned from women that I would call spiritual mothers to myself. They're friends of mine, but I also watch the way that they live and the way that they act, because they've let me into their home to see how they run things. And one of the things I've observed is just how ready they are for company, even if it's last minute. And they don't mind me seeing the mess, but they always have some designated spot that we can pray, that's clear of toys and whatever else might be lying around. And so I would just recommend, if you don't have somebody that you can call a spiritual mother or a mentor to watch, that you would just pray that God would bring somebody like that into your life. I do have a blog post specifically on what qualities to look for in a mentor, and I will also link that in the description box below. It just gives some insight on what I do to find somebody to model my life after. I love the Proverbs 31 woman example of being a virtuous and capable wife who is bringing her husband good and not harm, who is working well into the night, who watches carefully over her household. Just all the examples of her spinning thread and twisting fiber, all those things, but also how awesome it would have been to walk into the home of that woman. And I hope to model that for all of my guests, that I'm A, available for them, and B, that I have something to offer them. I hope that they feel valued and just really like I made time for them by the time they leave. And it also serves me. It's such a blessing for me to be able to serve women in that way. I know this is not natural for all women to want to be hospitable, but I do believe that we are called to be hospitable. I do think it goes hand in hand with mentoring women. There's a certain aspect of fellowshipping with the church body outside of church on Sundays and just doing life together. So I would encourage you to reach out to somebody today, let them know you're available, and just start inviting people over. My husband and I try to invite at least 2 people every month over, a family, over to our home that we haven't gotten to know yet, and just really get to know them on a deeper level. And that's something that God has really used to bless us and bless others. So, all right, I hope that you've been blessed by this episode. I make one new video every week on discipleship, family life, natural living, wholesome food, and some DIY. Until next time, blessings.